So this was supposed to be the match where we saw finally 300 being posted for the first time in IPL history, but sadly we'll have to wait a bit longer. Now, Ayaz, when you think of names who can nullify the attack of Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, Henrik Klassen and Ishan Kishan, you'd probably think of someone like a Jasprit Bumrah or maybe a Rashid Khan. I'm guessing Shardul Thakur won't be the first name on your list, but the Lord works in mysterious ways, and Lord Thakur did just that. So he took 4 for 34, including the wickets of Ishan Kishan and Abhishek Sharma, and essentially won them the game. Now, this is a very busy cricketer, and you know the name Lord has a lot of social media trolling elements to it, but he's a very effective cricketer. And remember that this was a guy who was unsold in the auction and only came into the Lucknow side because Mohsin Khan has been ruled out of the season because of injury. So what makes him so effective? And this is just yet another Indian fairy tale story in this IPL, right?
In many ways, it is a fairy tale story. But Anirudh, let me just kind of put it in context or in perspective. Normally when you talk of Mumbai cricketers and the Khados mentality that players from Mumbai have, which has won them 42 Ranji Trophy titles, you're usually referring to batsmen from Vijay Merchant to Wadekar to Sardesai to Gavaskar to Tendulkar and so on, Vengsarkar and Rohit Sharma. But you hardly ever refer to bowlers. Well, actually, there have been some really fine bowlers like, Ramakant Desai, if I go back in the past, Abdullah Ismail, Padmakar Shivalkar, and now Shardul Thakur. And I'm putting him in that category because he's such a game trier. I've seen him for the last 14-15 years. When he was just starting out, he started out in domestic cricket. I've covered his Ranji matches as a broadcaster, and he puts in 200%, and that's what makes him really successful. He just doesn't give up. He's so interested in making an impact. So we've seen that in red ball cricket when he's played for India. He was a surprise selection in the playing 11 even then, but he became almost like a match winner. And we've seen him in ODIs and we've seen him in T20s, and now this season actually he was unsold, as you mentioned. He got a call from Zahir Khan, who's the mentor of LSG, saying, be ready, we're going to get, you will probably get a call to come and join us, and you have to be ready to play immediately. It's not that you come in and you spend 8-10 days kind of settling in. So that's the kind of cricketer he is. We've seen how he can bat effectively. He's a very good fielder, but as a bowler, and now why I say he's a Khados cricketer, it's a mentality which says never give up. So he's not just, he's got a big heart, as we know, but he's also very clever. He's guileful. People say that he's got a golden arm, which he has, but golden arm doesn't come by itself. It also comes if you are a thinking cricketer. So I think in this match, LSG versus Sunrisers Hyderabad, his impact was immediate and expansive, monumental actually. 4 wickets in a T20 match is a really big deal. And I think this could be, as you mentioned, a fairy tale season for Shardul Thakur.
Yeah, and talking of Shardul Thakur, I mean, one of the major themes of this IPL, it's only been a week, but the major theme has been that the performances mostly have come from the Indian players, some of them even uncapped. We remember what Ashutosh Sharma did in that chase for Delhi, which was brilliant against LSG. And then Shashank Singh for Punjab, he was a perfect finisher, even though some people are upset that he didn't give strike to Shreyas Iyer on 97, but I think everyone put the team first. So even Vignesh Puthur, who took a 3-for in Chennai, I mean, the team didn't win, but he made a name for himself overnight. So most of these performances have been from recent, relatively unknown players. But of course, you have your Nicholas Pooran, who's been on a brilliant, hot streak in T20 cricket. Then you had Dickok with the 97 yesterday. So the big players are doing it, but not to the level that we expect from them or they have in past seasons. And it's mostly about the Indians right now. I mean, that is primarily the objective of the IPL, right? So really good times for Indian cricket.
It is. So let me just segregate these two. I'll talk about Pooran and Quinton de Kock a little after the uncapped players that you're talking about. The most celebrated uncapped player in the IPL is one MS Dhoni, who's playing for CSK. It's a different matter that he's got 5 titles under his belt and he's captained India with distinction and so on and so forth. But you're right. The guys who have made an immediate impact are people like Vignesh Puthur from Mumbai, a boy from Kerala, son of a rickshaw driver, one of those, trademark IPL stories. There's Vaikshak, a fast bowler from Delhi, from Punjab. So who bowls with such accuracy and so much control. And then you've got, there are uncapped players, Shashank Singh, Ashutosh Sharma. These are guys who've been around, maybe a couple of them have been around for a few seasons, but relatively unsung. And therefore, what I gather now, and what obviously is evident, is that there is n number of young players across India who see IPL as a ladder to to success in life. It's an aspirational pursuit for them as much as it is a pursuit of skill and passion and love for the game. But it's a way of getting up and ahead in life, and that's where they're focusing on. I mean, these Vaikshak, the way he bowled, he's just concentrated on one skill and delivered in that. So I think we're going to see more and more of this. Even an uncapped player, Anirudh, gets about 30 lakhs, isn't it? That's a decent amount to earn in India today. So that's the kind of players that we are seeing emerge. And they are going to keep the cap players on their toes, including the highly reputed ones, because, at the end of the day, franchise owners, fans, they all love somebody who's performing to expectations or even beyond. Now, when it comes to star players, and you're talking about overseas players like Nicholas Pooran, Quinton de Kock, Nicholas Pooran, in my opinion, must rank amongst the top 5 most destructive T20 batsmen in the world today, currently playing. So he's done it for the West Indies. He's done it for various franchises that he represents in T20 across the world. He just played 2 matches, 145 runs. He's averaging, the strike rate is almost 260. That's phenomenal. In the match against SRH, he made 70 of 26 deliveries. So it's not easy to contain a batsman like him. And then there have been some fantastic knocks from Quinton de Kock, 97 not out, much like Shreyas Iyer's 97 not out. In that sense, similar in terms of runs, being unbeaten. Though I think personally that Shreyas Iyer's knock was a nudge ahead of Quinton de Kock's, because it came against a better bowling attack, with Rashid Khan and Mohammad Siraj and so on in the opposition. So these guys have made an immediate impact, but it's a long season. We'll have to wait and see how the overseas players fare. I'm more interested in seeing, what is going to be the skew. So far, we've seen some matches, or quite a few matches, where the scores have been 225 and plus in each innings, and for first match SRH versus RR, we saw 544 runs being scored. And then there are some pitches which are helping spinners enormously, like we saw in CSK, 3 spinners, all almost in a sense unplayable on that day. So there's going to be a big, it's a very, in a sense, divisive IPL. Some pitches, some centers will be loaded heavily in favor of spin. Others might be, not so heavily loaded, and therefore the fast bowlers will come into play, or the batsmen. And that really is going to be of consequence as we go ahead. Which pitches are going to help the batsmen so much that they overcome the threat from pace and more particularly spin?
Yeah, so talking of Chepauk, that is where tonight's game is. It's the blockbuster clash between RCB and CSK. It's Kohli versus Dhoni and all the fanfare that comes along with it. But remember, as you said, it is at Chepauk, so do not expect a 500-run game. And like they have the 3 spinners with Noor, Jadeja and Ashwin will roll out probably 12 overs. So advantage Chennai, right?
But I would think RCB, don't discount them, though they're playing away from home. They've got Krunal Pandya, who is actually an ace in the T20 format, as we know. He's also represented India, but his IPL record is fantastic. And then I think somebody like a Josh Hazelwood will be very crucial, because he understands that Chepauk ground quite well, and he looked in very good form for playing in the first match for RCB. So obviously runs from Kohli is something that they would want, and from Phil Salt. So on paper, it looks, the skew is, or the tilt would be towards CSK, because they're playing at home, and that yellow army can just kind of put enormous, it can be intimidating for a visiting team. And then they've got that plethora of spinners. I think the guy to watch out for Chennai will be Rachin Ravindra. I mean, we all know Jadeja and Ashwin are maestros on that surface, but Rachin Ravindra looks cut from a different cloth as a batsman. He's such a fine player of spin and pace alike. Great footwork, very deft stroke play. So I would be watching him very seriously.
Yeah, so there you have it. So big blockbuster game coming tonight, and we'll come back to you after the next batch of matches. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.